for when my blue ball hits that leg and can't be rush peeled and is not in perfect position. Do I have a bit of patience, or do I go up there now and try to scramble it into a better position?
So here he is. He's loading 6 with yellow, and he's going to try and rush the blue ball through hoop 10.
The ratio's got to weigh a little bit on Trevor there. I think yellow probably went a little bit further, and black wasn't quite as far as he wanted, but all achievable, all fixable. In the past, Lawn 1 and 2 at Cairnley have been notoriously quite tricky and difficult, especially on that east side of the court, and that's possibly why I would have automatically said I think I would have preferred to keep control of hoop 5 more than going up. That's if blue wasn't peelable.
And we'll see in a moment.
Guys, can you hear me?
Hey, morning, Edward.
Morning. How are you?
Good. All good.
Okay.
Yep. Hi, Edward. Kevin here.
Sorry. G'day, Kevin. Just joining at hoop 5. G'day, everyone. Got Trevor on a slightly delayed standard triple, looks like.
Yes,
I think it's
he had to be in now. Yeah.
He had quite a short peel at after 3 at 4 back, but it moved a little bit and it ended up in a rush peelable position. So that's where he's found himself.
Yeah, excellent. So blue is in okay position. Oh, yep, I can see it there. 4 yards west of 4 back. Looks quite standard for Trevor from now.
Yeah, it was a nicely controlled, thickish takeoff back down to hoop 5 and got a tight rush to hoop 5. So all looking pretty good.
Yeah, beautiful. Do we know the state of play so far? Is this been a close one between Trish and Trevor?
I joined it at 4 back and 1 and 4 back and 2. So a little bit of interaction, and Trevor hit a good solid 9-yarder, then played a couple of immaculate cracker strokes to get this break rolling from hoop 2.
Yeah, okay.
And they had it perfectly tight at hoop 3 and 4 was perfect. As we know, 4 back. Yeah, but I say to Kevin, 4 back on this court on the east boundary, there's always a little bit of trickiness to discover what is happening around 4 back.
For sure. Well, that looks a little angled.
A bit angled, yeah.
Got a couple of options here. Yeah. It's quite tight control.
It's in a promote. Yeah.
Going to actually finish this peel in this little sequence.
Yeah, the important bit here is just getting this weight right of this shot. Edward, he doesn't want to, well, ideally it pops through, or ideally it ends up in the jaws, but doesn't want too much power that it gets a bit of leg and isn't, the most advantaged position at the end of the shot.
Yeah, yep. Yeah, I'm just wondering what sort of angle he has here. It looks 40-ish degrees suddenly. Oh, that's quite a good shot.
Yeah, it's a good shot, yeah.
Yeah, the fat part of the ball right into the jaws there, rather than, skating off an inside leg out to the side and having a tricky one to come back to. And then giving himself plenty of room, rushing yellow all the way to the corner there to play a nice large croquet stroke across the lawn, which Trevor's quite good at, getting yellow down to 2 back, going to red. You'd be fancying input from this position for sure.
Yes, and there's going to be, looking at that setup, there's going to be opportunities to get this peel through Rover after Benoit, well before Rover situation. So
yeah, yep.
It's looking pretty good. It's the first time I've seen the Kenley courts for a while, Edward, and they don't look the most attractive, but they look like they're running pretty well. The coverage, I'm not seeing much roll off or bouncing or anything. The surface looks like it's playing all right.
I agree. Yeah, and it looks quick enough as well for a tournament like this. Canley's always got that sort of sandy bottom to it, so it can look a bit browner than other courts. When it's playing even quite well. So I think they look alright on the view that we've got. A few little green patches and brown patches around the place, but predominantly look fairly consistently smooth, which is what you want when you're walking up at an event like this.
Yeah, and Trevor's, while we've been chatting, Trevor still looks well in control. I didn't quite see where his load to 2-back ended up, but I'm sure it's not a bad of position. Oh, he might have got unlucky there and hit the peg, has he? Yeah. Oh, looking at the angle on yellow, it might be not a bad spot.
Yeah, I think that's quite a good spot. And a good shot as well. I like leaving blue there with a little bit more room, as Trevor has.
100%. And on the west-hand side,
Yeah, exactly. You've just got a bit more room. So for those who are just joining us, Trevor's midway through a triple peel. He's got blue ready to peel at Rover, and he's about to run 2-back under quite good control. A little bit of swing there on the lawns. Obviously, for those who've played a bit at Canley, you'd be well aware of some of the swings around the lawns. But
Yes. Yeah. I mean, Trevor does like to get close to the hoops, but that would have, might have been a little bit of butterfly as you see that ball drift off that hill a bit. But generally safer to be trying to get that close when you're only a yard away, rather than 2 or 3 as Trevor was for that previous shot. That's highlighting your last comment, Edward, how good that blue was. That he wasn't pushing it right up to the hoop, and he's now can rush this yellow into a nice position to load 4-back and control this blue to do the peel going to 3-back. So it's
and having it that touch further out from Rover gives you a couple more options, and just gives you a bit more room. You don't need, if it's say a foot in front of Rover, so you really need to be a foot away from it to be able to keep control in front of Rover, where he's now 1.5 yards from it, and he's going to have no troubles keeping it in front of Rover that. So quite a nice position for Trevi here. That's a really good load at 4-back, and he's quite good at this role. So we see him play it here.
I checked the results before I logged on, Edward, and I see Lachlan Berryman had tripled the first round game as well. So it's good. We're getting a few players tripling away. Early stages of an event is always a good sign that the Lords are playing well and the players are playing well.
Yeah, absolutely. And Claire Bassett also had a 26-0 win. So that means that.
That's clean. Clean, good croquet.
Yeah, clean. Like breaks being completed, game like that, whether there was a triple involved or not, is irrelevant when you get the win. It does look like the outside courts are quite lush as well on this picture that we've got.
I take it
not being played on at the moment.
No, been left behind. So, they. I see that win that Claire got 26-0 against Lewis Mercer, who's a very good player. So that's a great win for Claire. It'll be interesting to see Lewis's response for that, because he usually does respond well when he gets something like that happen.
Now it looks like Trevi's just run long to get his rush on blue here, so it's an interesting option from him putting red to rover, and he didn't sacrifice the rush, but he didn't quite get it as he would have liked. So yeah, it's a slightly trickier shot, and when you're trying to wrap up a triple, these are the shots that you try and avoid.
Yeah.
You want to keep quite nice control all the time, so either having red to penult beforehand or getting the rush on blue quite well would have been ideal, but he's played it quite well.
I didn't see what happened at Freebank. Did he not have room to get red penult, Edward?
I think he would have had room. He just would have had to sacrifice the rush, but he ended up not having a rush and not having a ball at penult.
Because even 4/5 of the way to penult's fine, as long as you got the rush. With such a good tight fallback, you can still put partner to penult and control the situation.
Yeah, exactly. Where now you see that he's ended up obviously going through that hoop, but with a backward takeoff. Directly behind the hoop. It's a sweaty one, for sure.
So one croquet shot can catch you out. You don't quite get the rush you think that you're pretty well going to be guaranteed on, and puts a bit of pressure on a finishing turn.
Yeah, for sure.
And nothing tricky, but still, it still needs a bit of care. Sideway takeoff.
Yeah, especially first game of an event, when you're just trying to get the feel for the lawns, you really want to be playing in a rhythm, and when you're doing larger croquet strokes or more difficult croquet strokes that take a bit more thought, that can knock you out of rhythm a little bit more. Oh, that is skatey. Let's see how he goes here. And there we go. So not quite having the rush to get blue to nice close position in front of the hoop, or not having it in a nice pioneer position to begin with, has meant that the actual approach to the hoop was from the side. And as I was just saying, when you're trying to get in a rhythm, these more difficult croquet strokes like a flat mallet approach from the side do take a bit more time to sort of knock in for a tournament, and Trevor's unfortunately failed that one there, so Trish does have a chance to counter-attack and get her own triple going. The lawn is quite well set up.
Yeah, I mean, Trevor will be cranky, and rightly so. That's not one Trevor usually puts down. I must say that was good camera work, because the camera concentrated on Trevor's face as he's walking off. And I think it was a pretty good 4-letter word coming out there, which is understandable.
Yeah, yep. Yeah, none of us are happy when we have all the peels done and break down, especially not when you've got, a laid break for your opponent in the middle of the lawn.
And you've got to release that tension somehow. You've got to do something. You can't bottle all that in sometimes and, say la vie. You've got to react to bring yourself back into the focus.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. So we also do have quite a good point of difference between these two players here. Trish is using quite a modern mallet. It looks to be a trimmer made of carbon fibre with brass ends, where Trevor's using a mallet that him and his dad made out of entirely wood with, I believe they're polyurethane ends. So quite a difference between the equipment that these top players are able to use. But as you can see, the way you play
Yeah.
does make the biggest determination.
Yeah. And notably, probably at least a pound difference between the two mallets.
Yeah, and I think the main difference between them would probably be, in playing anyway, would be where the weight is distributed. You know, Trish has a very light carbon fibre handle and quite light grip, where Trevor, the weight of the actual handle in the mallet, because it's made of wood, means that the balance point is a little bit further up the shaft, which changes how you're actually able to play a croquet stroke. You know, so rolls for Trish might be slightly easier because she's got a little bit more weight in the bottom of the mallet, which allows her to sort of drop the mallet on the ball and you know, allow roll shots to sort of pop off the face, where Trevor's got to sort of hit through the ball with his bottom hand a bit more, which he's very good at. But it is that difference between the modern technology and the older technology.
Yeah, I came through the era of all mallets used to have about, you know, 1/4, 1/5 balance point weight like that, when you're talking about Edwin, and the change up going to a carbon fibre mallet was the croquet strokes. You really had to think about what you were saying is, you know, giving it a little bit more on the back ball. But I kind of think I always had a better croquet stroke with the balancer mallet. I could get a little bit more feel into the shot, whereas the carbon fibre one is more just getting to a stage of knowing the ratios and the distances and what happens on wider splits to narrower splits, and what type of line the ball takes.
Yeah, that's interesting, because I've as a player in the sort of younger generation who, you know, my idols growing up were all using Pidcocks at the time. So carbon fibre modern mallets, and I've grown up using those mallets and have recently, in the last year or so, bought an older style mallet, so entirely made of wood. And there are some croquet strokes which are quite easy to play on it, you know, flat mallet strokes, but when I get down to rolls, I'm really struggling to get my ratios right. But I think it's whatever you grow up with, where with
coming
the
through
more modern style of mallet, carbon fibre mallets, I can play those rolls with my eyes closed. You know, I don't need to really think about those ratios quite as much. So it is just, you know, that difference that the modern player has, whether they've grown up using them or been used to using the more balanced wooden style of mallet.
It's probably back to your comment that, you know, no matter what mallet you're using, you can make it work for you, and there's never a right or wrong, and it's just pulling it all together. There's always a bit of compromise or a give and take of, you know, what mallet you're choosing and what you're looking to get out of it. But I do always, I don't say to people to do this, but I never mind when players start experimenting and trying and looking for something better, or seeing what they can, you know, get out of practicing with different mallet, or testing out different mallets and just seeing what it's about. You know, even if you end up going back to the one you're happier with, it's just looking for that extra improvement, extra edge in your game.
Yep. Now, Trish here has pulled this break out quite well. She's still got a bit of work to do. There's quite a large croquet stroke coming up here. But if she gets that with a, you know, nice ball around 6, which she already does, and a good rush on the ball at 5, looks like she's lining up for the roll. Excellent. So this will be quite a good example of what we're talking about. You'll be able to see Trish sort of drop the mallet head on the ball, just like that. And she's punched thread all the way up to 1 back, and given herself a little bit of a long shot on black without much of a rush, pointing at 5. So there'll be another tricky croquet stroke coming up here, but
But yeah, one good croquet stroke, and it's pretty well game on.
Yeah. That is the beauty of digging out breaks, and why you do need a mallet that you can trust. So another one similar to Trevor's, but she's playing it down the mallet, so as a little bit more of a roll.
Roll, yep.
And she'll have quite a long receival shot here, depending on where she runs through to.
Are we thinking black was intended to go there, Edward? Or she couldn't quite get the roll angle?
I'm not sure. There is on this Canley lawn, there is a bit of a hole, almost exactly where black is, in between hoops 1 and 5. So it might have just slipped down that.
Slipped down, yeah.
Sort of a bit further away than she ideally wanted it to be. But
played the shot at the angle that she knew she could get right in front of the hoop with and take the return roquet on
maybe
what
not
it was.
Worrying about, exactly. And that is one of the beauties of it. If you have control over the hoop, you have control over where your ball's going to end up, and ideally better control over the break because of it, rather than trying to get a perfect receiver ball and then maybe sacrificing your hoop position a little bit. So she's done the right thing here and is continuing her break and looking to take off to red, improve its position slightly before going to blue. So all under, you'd say, good control.
No, she scrambled this really well. It was looking good.
Yep. Yeah, and I didn't notice before, but she did start the break from hoop 3. So trying to get a triple out of that, she would have had to come up with quite an interesting ball movement. But unfortunately, she's missed that one there.
That's a bit of a shame that slipped by that red. It wasn't a long one. It was a slowest pace shot, so you can sometimes get a bit of drift. But it was good croquet after that. Trevor got punished for putting the triple down, and Trish got a break going that she would have liked to have obviously kept going. But puts Trevor back onto the lawn.
Lining up with his peg ball here, so won't be able to finish this turn. Probably just looking to reset, which is an interesting choice because black is quite close to blue, and clearly as he's hit that shot is shooting quite well. So he's turned down the opportunity to win the game on this turn, but should be able to reset quite well from here. He's got a few options of where he can send balls, with a couple sort of in the lawn a little bit. He's hit that quite hard. That's well paced. That's good shot. Sending that ball quite close to its hoop, so it's not a load for any other ball. For instance, if you were to put yellow there, if yellow hit black or blue, it's got a ball at its hoop. So quite safe play, getting that ball all the way towards its own hoop and in that corner.
This part of the game of Trevor, I think, is probably not just him. He's extremely strong at it. Whatever leave he sets in these positions, he usually got the perfect result, distance, and the number one thing is that if the player does miss, Trevor will finish next turn. It's usually what he accomplishes. So you can always get a lot from what Trevor does on these turns for players watching.
Yeah, and looking to put himself in the middle of... He did clip black. There you go.
Yeah. Means he just has to roll into that wiring spot a little bit further than rushing it there. But again, the distances are perfect. Yellow being on the east of that hoop and red being on the east of the other hoop means there's nothing short. It's going to require a good shot from Trish to stay in this match.
Yeah, and that is truly what it is. You know, you would think that Trevor should be able to finish wherever Trish shoots, as you said. That's the way he'll be intending to set up this leave, and he has done. So whatever shot Trish takes, Trevor has a pretty decent chance of finishing from here.
I mean, if there is an ideal, it's making Trevor rush to Penalt from down the south end. But she likes the shot on yellow at the whatever the target is. It's always left.
Close. It's actually an interesting shot here from Trevor. Whether he'll just try and tap onto yellow and get it in the lawn a few yards, getting a rush on blue up to red or up to Penalt, or whether he actually hits yellow down a bit further and tries to get it into the lawn a little bit further. You would think that the tap on and just tapping it in is probably on here.
Yeah. Trevor likes tight control of that first rush. He doesn't want to be stretching things. So again, I'm not sure where he's rushing blue to. I didn't see if red can rush to Penalt or not, but I think it can, can't it? Otherwise, he's got a straight rush to Penalt. Yeah.
Yeah, and how much value does he get out of going up to red? Oh, he looks disappointed with that rush. He's definitely behind the hoop, so he won't be able to control his rush out of Penalt if he does get in front of it.
Red was quite deep.
Control of where the receiver ball goes. Yeah.
He was more or less forced into rushing to Penalt. Yeah.
Yep.
Same little
and he's in a
spot
very
in
similar
before.
position. Yeah.
Oh. Played that last one medium hard, so see if he puts a bit of action on it. Yeah, well, played it softer. Might have been easier, not sure.
Yeah. Yeah, it's quite a good shot to get through and have some sort of control. That one's an easy one that could go really anywhere when you're hitting it at that pace. But yeah, good shot from Trevor and a good rush back as well. Anywhere within 3 yards of that yellow ball, I'd be pretty happy. And looks like he's trying to get it into the lawn a little bit as well, rather than taking off. A nice control.
I don't mind either or there, Edward. He's got the perfect rush anyway, so it's all irrelevant. But I don't think there's any problem just doing a delicate shot to get the rush on yellow and rushing back to the boundary. Again, another testy one. Let's see what he gets out of this. And it's not usually rushes like that are Trevor's thing that he's getting that much wrong. He usually floats those rushes in quite well, but he just must be getting half balls more than solid balls and can catch you out of it. That looks good pace if that gets up.
That's a fantastic.
That'll be able. You can spank that to the bottom boundary, and you'll be a lot happy. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. No, tremendous shot from Trevor there. That is what you're after as a high-level player. Oh, quite a large rejection as well. Coming back north of the hoop. It's showing that they're probably quite firm in the ground.
True.
That hard and have it reject that far north.
Yeah.
So a tough one for Trevor again.
It was a position I thought Trevor, that's generally standard position for Trevor. He likes that spot and that pace run to the boundary. So it's an unexpected one.
Opening out the shoulders and being able to, and having that target quite close to you in your eye line when you're playing that shot means that, a lot of players who we talk about lifting your head in croquet quite a lot. but players who do have that tendency to have a bit of body movement through those shots when the target is quite close and you're hitting it that hard, the tendency is to stay a little bit lower and have that body stability that we're all after in those shots. So as you're saying, Trev does normally hit that one quite well with a nice stable body and opening up the shoulders. You know, it's quite nice to watch actually when he does play that shot correctly, but unfortunately not on this occasion.
No,
Is he looking at
all
the
listeners
peg
correct. Well, I don't know what times they're playing, but yeah, he is.
Yeah, I believe they're 2.25 hour games,
Okay,
and
so
this is
short
definitely
games.
a shot at the peg.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, well,
Oh,
no,
no.
it's not.
Shot through the black.
Well, it might have been a pass at double with the peg in the black. I won't say that to Trevor, but yeah.
Yeah, well, it would have been, in his eye line for sure, and a good little teaser for the crowd. But Trish, you know, it's the right shot to take, not leaving a ball in the lawn, and if blue had shot through, it goes up towards yellow's line of play. So you definitely chose what you'd call the right shot. Yeah, I think the right shot is always the one that you hit.
For yeah. We've got Trish for hoop sits, isn't it? So she's got a bit of work to do to get something going from here, but she's.
She can definitely get blue into the lawn, though. You know, there's quite a nice.
Oh, that's a good shot. Yeah,
to get blue all the way to one back and get a nice shot on black. This is, you know, about where most people would like to be to have room to play this shot. It'll be pretty standard.
I think she might.
What a drive.
She hasn't got big strength, Trish, and this one could be just going west line past the peg, trying to get the rush to hoop sits and deal with that. But we'll see. Jeez. I know you're right. She's getting the right angle to go there.
Yep.
She just wants this rush to hoop sits, and we can.
Nice. That looks like quite a great shot, actually. Blue's in a nice position that after hoop.
It's good. Yeah,
and she's left herself the rush. It's slightly long, but you know, when it comes down to this situation where it's every shot is potentially your last shot, you just want to have the shot. You know, not too worried about being a foot. You know, close to black. It's really about having the right shot to play. Just give yourself a chance, and she's played it quite well as well.
Yeah, straightish self of hoop sits is anywhere around there is great result from what the balls were.
Yeah, in between the peg and hoop six is because you've got that room to get the receiver ball right the way to the boundary, which, you know, as we saw with Trevor's shot, you can just spank it through and you've got a lot of options. But she's gone for the tight control shot and left herself a little bit angled on the same hill that Trevor's had a couple of issues with. What a shot.
It's good.
Wow.
Yeah, no, that's good. I mean, you'll be going, you know, play those first couple of rushes, and all you're doing is right now, make this stick, get through this hoop, and now it's just don't put this down after that hard work. You've got it all in front of you. And she's got a couple of options where she rushes this black too. Yeah.
Yep. Well, she even has a bit of safety if she attempts to get black down to two back going to red. She's got a second chance to get red down there, or she can focus on, you know, just getting black into the lawn, getting a good rush on red around, and you know, you definitely want to be coming to red here. I'd say as any level of player. When you've got this option, getting all four balls into the lawn and into your break is very handy. Gives you a lot of options further on in the break.
Right. It was a good moment to pause and, you know, take stock of what it is and look at your options and just, you know, take a few more seconds than normal and work it out, because it's a pretty crucial turn if Trish can hold on to this and manipulate something that Trevor can't have.
Yep. Oh, it does look like she's just playing to blue, which is, oh no. It would have been fair enough where she ended up rushing it to just play for the control near and around blue. But she's gone over red.
Yeah, the line looked really good, Edward. It looked like that was a stop shot drivey type shot, so low two
Exactly,
back,
nice straight drive.
roll on, yeah. Instead of putting too much angle into it, you got to.
Yeah, she's missed the value of going to red a little bit here because black doesn't look amazingly close to two back, and she's going to have to leave red there anyway. Oh my!
Yeah. Well, you didn't pick that one, Trev. Edward. I was going to say earlier, Trish is off to the Women's Worlds in New Zealand, 2023, early 2023. So she's an Australian representative for that event, and so she preps up really well. And so it was a wee way out before she gets here in January. So she usually ramps it up a bit and puts herself out there getting things going. And it's a great shot.
Jagged it into the hoop. As long as she, gets a nice shot on blue here, she's every chance of finishing this. How exciting. So for those who may have missed why Peter and I are sounding so excited at the moment, Trish is actually trying a triple peel here. From a lawn that was, quite sparse in terms of really good, easy options a minute ago. She's ended up, if she gets this hoop approach in quite a good position to at least get one peel done and potentially even finish the game. And, punish Trevor for having a couple of shots that he probably could have won on. And she's run the hoop with control. Great shot. Oh, go Trish. This is exciting.
Yeah. It's certainly livened up the chance to commentate on this end of this game. But this is fantastic.
For sure. For sure.
So, and this is a delayed triple peel from after hoop 6. So it would be fantastic to see if this can roll out close to the end or finish off. That looks good. Rush on black to two back. Pretty good on blue. Oh, good straight rush.
Playing this turn, and she should get the rush. Would you be taking this back to red here, or would you look at just playing a ball down and doing the triple quite straight?
I'd like to see where that blue is, Edward. I think in the mode that if you were in playing those early shots after hoop 6, and if blue's good, I think I would have tried to rush up after two back.
Yeah. Well, that's an unfortunate end to that break, which was looking so promising, and that is why these sorts of breaks are so exciting, because Trish isn't, I would say, a prolific tripler. So when she's trying something like that, it is, quite edge of your seat stuff. It's like, will she get this rush? Will she get the hoop? Will she finish this turn? And she's given that a really good crack, but unfortunately stumbled at two back there.
Trevor, there's a reasonably shorter shot, but it is in the hoop. Ooh.
Wow,
it's got the leg, I think.
Yeah.
Going back to your previous question, Edward, where Trish rushed black to two back, I think that was very, very good. And then the trade-off of getting Penalt peeled going to hoop 6 was to four back was on offer rather than a tight straight double. So I think I would have always gone up where that black had rushed
exactly. And
hoop two back.
And a Pioneer 4-3 back was sort of floating around a little bit as well. It's not going to be tight either way you look at it, so you may as well go back down and then play the takeoff back. So Trish has rightfully taken her hoop. She's got a couple of long options on offer. I'd definitely be tempted here to be hitting black and trying to finish this break. Obviously, it's fairly do or die at this stage, and she's taken a far safer option.
She's weighted that pretty well.
Yeah, she's weighted that fantastically.
It's a tricky weight one. I mean, there's a few players would have put that to the boundary, a little bit west, because it's still a difficult one to weight that shot right. Yeah.
Yeah, no, she has played it well though. Interesting point about these lawns, as we're saying, they haven't been maintained to the same standard that they previously were over the last few years, for obvious reasons. And have you looked into or played on artificial surfaces for croquet at all, Peter? If they're an option for the future.
I'm struggling to think, Edward. I have hit on one. I haven't played a game on artificial courts. Look, I do think that they're good to have as options. I don't know about a whole complex all in artificial, but if a venue does have some artificial courts as well as grass, I think it opens up to that weather things when we do get washed out courts and bits and pieces. The things what I have looked at or seen cost floating, there's a bit of maintenance in artificial courts, and the cost is obviously quite high to start with, but then so they don't work out a great deal difference in maintaining grass courts. And it appears to me the hoops are the trickiest thing to get right, and any energy spent into being able to move hoops and still keep that surface good around the hoops, I think is quite relevant. And a lot of players find them very hot. So in Australia, there's always going to be that issue that if the heat's coming off those courts, it could wear out a player quite quick.
Right, that's interesting. I saw quite a long time ago a video of I think it was Harley Watts or Tim O'Leary bouncing a ball from one of the corner hoops into the south boundary in a court that we have here in South Australia, which is artificial, on those hoops, and they just made them, sort of rock solid and immovable. But as you're saying, you'd like to move hoops because you end up with wear patches around them.
They wear, but
at the same time, those wear patches are going to stay there either way.
But
at the moment, I know that I enjoy playing on real lawn.
Being able to replace an 8 foot by 8 foot square around the hoops where you can always replace an area and have a couple of hoop hole options. I think would be. Certainly with watering around the world, it will be an option. It'd be quite tricky to be able to water certain courts in parts of the world all the time, and artificial courts may help there.
Yep. Now Trish with a long croquet stroke again. Played it quite thick. Looks like putting yellow into just a bit of a safer position out of the lawn. If she didn't manage to get everything else. So I'd say that's quite a good position for yellow actually, to sort of reset.
It's a pretty good shot.
Reevaluate. Yeah. Yep. She doesn't really have a whole lot of options here apart from sort of an OSLE type thing. So a ball sort of on a boundary near a corner and a ball near the middle of the lawn, and her two balls sort of, there's going to be some short shots for Trevor here either way, aren't there?
She did you say the 2 hour quarter games, Edward?
Yeah, I believe so. Yep.
and I know this is Trish's second game of the day. I'm not sure how long the first one took.
Right.
She needs, whatever happens next, she needs to get a break going, I'd say, around to Rover or the peg anyway, and try to not have too many breaks to make in the last, part of this match. So, because there will become a point if time is an issue. I don't think Trevor will be shooting at everything.
No, but it looks like he would have one or two, quite safe shots through on this one, whether he shoots.
Yeah, that's...
blue through from A-Bolt towards black, going down to a position similar to where he currently is, or even, blue through these two balls. Black through these two balls, leaving blue sort of in the corner. They're all quite safe shots. It does look like he's going over to blue, maybe just having a look at its shot on black, but say that black would be the ball you want to play. No, he is playing for black.
Oh, yeah, Trish. Yeah.
Interesting. So I'd probably happily give, Trish that ball in corner 4 there, shooting black through yellow maybe, but that is, where knowledge of the venue comes into account, and that is a very difficult boundary to shoot along, and this isn't all that long a shot.
Down,
yeah. Yep. But it did look quite short. It only looks like 12 or so yards for that shot, but this also looks only about 10 yards as well. 10. So.
And narrow miss, up to the corner. Yeah, you're quite right. Sorry, I had forgot about the left, that he was always going to be taking a shot. Something.
Yeah, yep. Righto, she's played with yellow, so... Yeah, and this is where Trevi was deciding not to shoot through to corner 4, because it does give her an option to try and pick up a break, where currently, she is going to struggle to get in front of 3 back with anything, forward play, where she could attempt, a hold and load or even just roll off the hoop if a ball was in corner 4. Oh, it looks like she's playing a pass roll to the hoop, which is, slightly safer. Leaving that ball on the boundary is always a good option. If she didn't get in front of the hoop, where now she's got balls in the lawn.
100%, yeah.
Because she could have run back to red, getting a rush on it, where now she's going to be leaving herself either quite a long shot or, oh dear.
Yeah, that's just trying to see what time was left, Ed, but that's probably why Trish did roll. She needed to get a break quickly around to at least penult.
There you go.
Yeah.
So time has just been called.
Time being called.
We're getting word, yep.
Another one just to the left.
Yeah. Got to say, the production quality of having croquet on our screens is coming along in leaps and bounds. My Sport Live are doing a great job at this event, and Trevor has won that one on time there. So unlucky to not get the peg out. It's always a bit of a when there's no 26 sitting next to your name. You sort of that's a good one to ask players what happened there. But
it's a bit fraught result, isn't it?
Yeah.
You had a tight triple on, you put it down, things didn't quite finish out how you'd want. So you take the win, still feel a little bit, okay, I've got to get it right for next round. Trish played a good match, and even though she did put down a couple of crucials, there's a pretty good bit to build on there for the next few games for her today.
For sure, yep. Yeah. So first two she's gone down in, but you know, she's quite an experienced campaigner, so can bounce back well.
Yeah.
If she gets a good run in the next game, for sure.
So both of those players are in Block B. So Trish will have Josh Wilson and Roger Bird to still go. So pretty good matchup still left there for her.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I see Robert Fletcher's in Block A, and he had a bye first round, so he must be out on the court there somewhere as well. So it'd be good to see if we can see Robert. Yeah, going back to your comments on My Sport Live, Edward, it's just, it's getting, well, it's always been good, but it's getting better and better. It's been great working with My Sport Live. The camera angles and the getting into position of seeing, bits automatically are great. We can have action replays. It's absolutely perfect for the
something that we
viewers around
haven't
Australia.
really been exposed to for a long time. For the entirety of croquet previously, we've had obviously videos of players playing, but nothing with quality commentary and quality camera angles. This is a real production, and it's really exciting for our sport. And big thank you to My Sport Live for helping us out and giving the quality that croquet deserves, getting it out there.
Yeah. So we're just waiting for what's going to be happening next. We're over onto court one by the look of it.
Yep, Robert in play up to one back. So it looks like
Robert's also in long trousers.
A little bit of interaction. Yeah, which is very rare to see, actually. Not up to one back, up to hoop 4, maybe. Oh no, up to 2 back.
I'm not sure if
up to hoop 4.
the scorings are right.
Putting 2 balls to. Oh right, this is a sextuple. Okay, right. So looks like blue had been peeled through 1 back, and he's put it up to 2 back. So we're actually seeing something quite awesome here. It's a good time to tune in.
Yes.
No wonder we couldn't figure out what he was doing. So before hoop 4, he's played an extremely good rush to in front of him.
Fantastic rush.
Right where you want to be. You want really good control of hoop 4.
Peely's over towards 2 back, and the ball's very good for hoop 5. So this is a fantastic time to join it. We didn't see the leave or how it eventuated, but it looks like it's from a pretty well standard start of some setup.
Exactly. And when you see, the score line of, 9-6 to 7-3, you go, oh, bit of interaction.
Oh, what's going on?
But the truth is revealed, and it's just Robert trying to get into the rhythm of the tournament, and try and push himself a little bit on a big turn. He hasn't played a lot of association croquet as of late. Had a really good result at the Worlds in England earlier in the year for golf croquet, but his association hasn't been quite as consistent recently.
Yeah, I'll like to check with Robert at the end if Lewis was on 4-back and on second break before he got to do the 1-back left, because that would have been interesting to know.
Has, an option of peeling Lewis post.
But because
if he doesn't quite
with
get
the
into good position here.
With the bye, I'd like to know, because I don't think Robert would have come into this first game thinking, okay, I'm going to set for a sets tuple, but straight away for the first game up if Lewis hasn't got a start. But if Lewis is on, a couple of controlled breaks, it's as good that what Robert's elected to do. It looks pretty good.
It looks really good. Yeah. So, in form, Robert is, quite good to watch. Looks like he's got a couple of options with these balls post, so it looks like he's potentially leaving yellow east of hoop 5. So he'll go to red after hoop 5, you would think, and rush that.
Did you see how far blue peeled through?
It was about 1.5 yards, 2 yards.
Okay. You don't want it much more than that. You don't want it that far.
No, so quite a long rush back.
It's a good rush. You couldn't have played the rush much better. Get it as close as you can towards maximum distance of being able to get red up the court and get a controllable, workable ball on rush on blue. And Robert's got a nice rush on blue over to 3-back, and it's the break's always going to be at risk on a sets tuple, so he's going to require the rush is a little bit short. He would have liked it to be a little bit further east so he could play the nice angle into the peel, getting the rush on yellow to hoop 6. So he's elected to push blue towards 3-back and get a tight rush on yellow to 6, and that way he'll be able to rush back down after hoop 6, and it means he'll be forcing a peel on blue through 3-back going to red, which again is a big shot. That's how the sets tuples has to roll out just to quite get that rush
extraordinarily
big enough.
He
had a dolly
with red. Sorry, go on, Pete. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm not sure. He when he put the red up towards 1-back, he got a very good rush on the blue to 3-back, but he left it 3 yards short, and so that's kind of where he was forced into just doing the takeoff to yellow. But you've got to play some good shots. It's not going to always roll out spot on. So if his toughest shot is this peel on 3-back going to red, then if it's successful, it's probably all back on pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting one putting red there in the first place. I didn't exactly see where he had red sitting behind blue. He may not have had he across.
Well, when he came out of hoop 5, you'd probably remember he had a bit of distance between black and red, and he was able to rush that absolutely perfectly, probably half a yard east of corner one.
Right. So
Maybe
he
a
did have
yard
the
east of
option
corner one.
of either
Yeah,
way.
he had good. Yeah. And it looked like he played it straight and got that perfect rush on blue to free back. It was a dolly rush. Could have been better.
So he opted for playing it straight and getting the good rush rather than.
I think so. Yeah.
You know,
then
and knowing that he was going to sacrifice position at one back, where instead, you know, the other option there is putting red over to 3 back and having it ready for PLE and not playing this quite long shot outways. But a couple of tough ones here. He looks like he's putting yellow a bit further down, so he's putting his eggs in one basket, and he's going to try and get the peel on blue going to red straight away. So quite a big shot here in the context of the sextuple.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Hello,
Tim.
Peter here.
Good afternoon.
Beg your pardon, I didn't realise I was live. Sorry.
Oh,
yes,
so
we
not
have.
Quite,
Tim Wolford-Smith joined us in the commentary box.
And who else is in
Yeah,
the
that's
box with me?
Edward Wilson and Peter Landrep.
and that's me just signing off. I'll definitely be watching Robert's break through the commentary.
Edward, you can't go till the next couple of shots are coming out. This is a tough deal, isn't it? Not a bad bounce.
Well, he's actually done that quite well. You know, obviously couldn't go at it with dead weight with the angle that he was at. You're never banking on actually peeling that. So most players, ideally in that situation, if you're on that angle, you'd want to be on the other side. Anyway, this I think shows the value in having red up closer to 3 back. He could have at least controlled the rush, even if he had a difficult shot to get blue into the hoop. He would have been able to play it slightly differently so that he had a better chance coming back and still definitely having the rush. Where now, you know, quite a long shot onto red, didn't get the rush in front of the hoop. Now it's a difficult takeoff to regain control. So he's still, you know, at odds to get the hoop for sure. But the chances of him actually having a controlled rush back up the lawn to blue, where really he also needs to rush peel blue through. You know, there's not many options that he can sort of knock it to the side. Oh, that's a tremendous shot. So he's got the rush back, but he probably will be looking to rush peel blue through the hoop here. So rushing all the way to the south boundary, because it is close enough that he can't really knock it to the side to roll down to behind yellow. And so if you're really banking on the sextuple, you want to get the rush peel here.
The pace he had to play the peel at free back meant that the bounce back was a pretty good result, Edward, that to be reasonably straight and still rush peelable. So he did kind of, well, he maybe got away with it a little bit, but it's not a bad outcome.
Yeah. Oh, actually, blue is a bit further out than I thought it was, so may not need to attempt a rush peel. But still, yellow's that straight that, you know, it's a difficult shot to put blue into a position to actually roll it through the hoop